Caribbean nations are calling for slavery reparations from the royal family and the UK, and they must be paid right now. They must be paid for slavery reparations, for the harm caused to people of color who are enslaved, so that Britain's royal family can line their pocket with unearned wealth fully acquired from slavery, the torture of people of color like me, my ancestors, my family. Now, today, Good Morning Britain's Richard Madeley, he had an interview with the president of Guyana, a whole president, my family, elected by the people of Guyana, by the good people of Guyana, who voted him into office. And Richard was practically bullying a whole president on national TV. On national TV. My family, he was banging tables on national TV while speaking to a president. My family, I remember Harry's very own words. What Harry told us all, that my family, even right now, is being proven to be very, very true. Harry told us this, and I quote, on a national level, as at the moment, our country is judged globally by the state of our press and our government, both of which I believe are at rock bottom. Harry's very own words in his court case against the Mirror. Harry said those words. And my family, I want you to see exactly what Harry said, my family. From basically the interaction between Richard Madeley, a GMB reporter, and a president, my family, and a president, where someone who calls himself a reporter can bully a president on national TV, And some people will think there's no problem with our press. There's a huge problem with the UK tabloid press. A very, very huge problem. My family, please kindly look at this. The unethical bullying Richard Madeley, just like Piers Morgan. Good Morning Britain knows how to pick them. They know how to pick them. My family, please kindly look at this, please.
You will see the sweat, tears. One of the points you're going to be making today is about our royal family. And you feel that it's not just about the finances involved here in terms of reparations for slavery. It's about the gestures. And you think that the British royal family should make a big gesture, don't you? What do you mean? Hand over a palace to your country?
Well, no, we don't want the British to hand over a palace that we built. If you go into many of the palaces in Britain, you will see the lovely green heartwood from Guyana. You will see the sweat, tears, and blood of the slaves who were exploited.
So what do you want?
And the revenue that was earned from their exploitation. So we're not asking for a palace. We're asking for justice.
One of the points you're going to be making today.
We are asking for justice. We are asking for justice. That is what we want. That's what we are calling for. Justice. Justice for crimes committed. That's all we are asking for. My family, Guyana's president. My family, hear this again.
We don't want the British to hand over a palace that we built. If you go into many of the palaces in Britain, you will see the lovely green heartwood from Guyana. You will see the sweat, tears, and blood of the slaves who were exploited.
So what do you want?
And the revenue that was that was earned from their exploitation. So we're not asking for a palace, we're asking for justice.
One of the points you're going to be making today is about our royal family. And you feel that it's not just about the finances involved here in terms of reparations for slavery, it's about the gestures. And you think that the British royal family should make a big gesture, don't you? What do you mean? Hand over a palace to your country?
Well, no, we don't want the British to hand over a palace that we built. You know, if you go into many of the palaces in Britain, you will see the lovely green heartwood from Guyana. You will see the sweat, tears, and blood of the slaves who were exploited.
So what do you want?
And the revenue that was earned from their exploitation. So we're not asking for a palace, we're asking for justice.
One of the points you're going to be making
My
today,
family, they're asking for justice. And I wanted you to hear that, again and again. To see how even Richard Madeley is speaking to a president. I mean, who does he think he is? Who does he think he is, my family? And this is the same guy who my family was like, I don't see what bad thing Thomas Markle has done. The guy can come on TV and hurl misogynistic abuse towards Meghan Markle. And then Richard can be like, I don't know what he has done wrong. Because he was paid some money to come there and abuse Meghan Markle. So my family, they're okay with whatever he says as long as he's going after Meghan Markle. As long as he props up Charles, William, and the rest of the members of the farm. As long as he does that, he has no problem. And my family, this is the system that I've been saying the royal family created, whereby anyone who dares call out the establishment for its evils, for its wrongs, is bullied. Even on TV, even when you are a president on TV, publicly, shown disrespect, my family, enormous disrespect. That is what happens, my family, when anyone challenges the establishment, my family, or does expose the corruption of the royal family, my family, or even anyone who dares ask or call for accountability, for justice. You have seen yourself how Richard Madeley is banging his table, my family, while speaking to a president. While the president of Guyana, my family, maintains his calm. My family, and my family, one can't forget this, that the owners of slaves were paid, were compensated for losing their slaves. However, the likes of Richard Madeley, UK tabloids, are opposed for the descendants of slaves to be paid for basically what happened to their ancestors, how they were tortured, how they lost their lives just fighting against slavery. My family. But they're okay with paying descendants of slave owners. My family. They're okay with paying descendants of slave owners. My family. And one can't basically forget that even in the UK, my family, the descendants of slave owners were paid, for their ancestors who were slave owners losing their slaves. You know? And the debt was fully paid off. The last payment was made as recently as 8 years ago, back in 2015. Britain paid and made the last payment to descendants of slave owners. But they're telling you there's no money to pay the descendant family of slaves. There's no money to pay the descendants of slaves. How is it okay that the descendants of slave owners have been paid, but the descendants of slaves, my family suffered, whom their ancestors and family, they suffered. They lost their lives, were tortured. How are they not being paid? And you can see Richard Madeley's anger. Just being told, you know what? As Caribbean nations, we want justice. We want reparations. That is what we want. Just the thought of paying descendants of slaves, it angers Richard Madeley. You know, it exposes just who he is and why he was given a job at Good Morning Britain. My family, basically replacing Piers Morgan. My family, who's also a very well-known bully, who bullies and abuses my family, Meghan, Harry, and many other people in my family. Good Morning Britain knows how to pick them, my family. They know. And my family, that clip I just showed you has now attracted up to 1.4 million views on Twitter. That one clip, my family, I just showed you. You know? My family. You know? Let me just read you what Caribbean nations are basically asking for. And my family, Caribbean nations are set to ask the royal family to make reparations for slave trade. Lloyd's of London and Church of England are also to be approached over a role in past exploitation. And nations in the Caribbean are preparing formal letters calling for the UK royal family to apologize and make reparations for slavery. And my family, national reparations commissions in the region will also approach Lloyd's of London and the Church of England, asking them for financial payments and reparative justice for their historic role in the slave trade. The commissions are planning to send letters to the institutions by the end of the year. And my family, speaking to a newspaper in Grenada, Ali Gill, a lawyer and chair of the Island Nations Reparations Commission, my family, Reparations Commission, said this, and I quote, "We are hoping that King Charles will revisit the issue of reparations and make a more profound statement, beginning with an apology, and that he would make resources from the royal family available for reparative justice." My family, the thing is, years ago, my family, Prince Harry himself had basically asked, the royal family of Britain to say sorry for the sins of slavery. He was attacked. mocked, and abused for saying what Harry said. My family, you know? And Harry told them, you know, say sorry. Say sorry. He was abused by the palace propaganda machine, the UK tabloid press. When Harry said what he said, they also held misogynistic abuse towards him, saying, you know what, Harry, you're being controlled by Meghan. You know, the normal attacks you have seen them, you know, attacking Harry with. Or because a husband dared to defend his wife from racism and abuse of the UK tabloid press. My family. Or because Harry dared to defend Meghan from the abuse of the UK media and the rest of my family and called it out. You know? And my family, Harry was attacked for it, my family. And look at what is happening right now. Now, you are having Caribbean nations, you know, calling out the farm, demanding and calling for an apology from Britain's royal family, saying they want reparations. Justice, justice, justice. That's what they are calling for. But Harry told them a long, long time ago, but they refused to listen. They refused to listen. Once again, Prince Harry and Meghan are being proven right. You know, my family, the poor treatment of Meghan Markle by the institution. My family, if the royal family think that the global world are okay with it, they are very wrong. If they think Caribbean or nations in the Commonwealth are okay with it, they are mistaken. They are very, very mistaken. Maybe in the UK, you have some elements or people who are okay with seeing Harry and Meghan being bullied every day by the media. But globally, people hate what they're seeing. They don't like the mistreatment of Meghan, a woman of color. They don't like that one bit. My family, they don't like that one bit, even just a tiny little bit. People don't like it. They don't like it. And my family, guess what? Right now, Caribbean nations have teamed up to call for Britain to pay reparations. And the propaganda machine of the palace, the likes of Richard Madeley, who are called upon to abuse Meghan Markle and bring Thomas Markle on TV to abuse Meghan Markle, thinking it looks good, that somehow the attacks on Meghan are good for their own family. They are not. It is causing a very, very bad effect on the royal family, whereby Caribbean nations are demanding, calling for reparations to be paid. And this time, they don't have, a person of color as a member of the royal family whom they can order or dispatch to send to Caribbean nations. They don't have Meghan to control, to tell, go over there and say this. They don't have that. I mean, my family, a while back, they sent William and Kim Morton to the Caribbean, and it was a disaster. A disastrous tour to the Caribbean. People were telling William, leave our land. Pay reparations. I recall even when William was in Jamaica, even before he sat down, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew, he said, we want to fully secure independence, even before William and Kate sat down. And it's no wonder, it's no surprise that William and Kate Middleton are so fearful, afraid of going on an international tour to the Caribbean because of the disaster of what happened the last time. Those tours, my family, if Harry and Meghan were there, they would have aced it. It would have been magical. But my family, Charles and William, basically shot themselves on the foot by treating Meghan, a woman of color, appallingly. And they will never be forgiven for what they did to Meghan Markle. Never. Never, ever, ever, ever be forgiven for what they did to Meghan and what they continue to do to Meghan Markle. This constant harassment of Meghan, Charles, Camilla, William K. Middleton, especially Prince William, you won't ever be forgiven for your sins. For the pain that you have caused Harry and Meghan, you won't ever be forgiven. Mark my words. You mark my words. And my family, also, here is what is basically being said. That Charles should make some money available. We are not saying that he should starve himself and his family, and we are not asking for trinkets. But we believe we can sit around a table and discuss what can be made available for reparative justice. Wow. I love that. I like that. I like that. Caribbean nations, it is time for you to rise. Demand justice from colonial masters. It's high time Britain understands. Richard Madeley understands that the age of slavery, colonialism, my family, is over. It is over. It's high time they understand, my family, that the British Empire collapsed a very long time ago. It's high time they get that into their heads. And they can't order Caribbean nations around, my family. They can't order Caribbean nations around anymore. They can't. They're demanding justice and they're calling for reparations. Finally. You know? And my family, here's what, Ali Gill, a lawyer, also said. He added that the duty to offer reparations lay, and I quote, at all levels, banks, churches, insurance companies like Lloyd's, and universities and colleges that benefited from slavery. My family. And earlier this year, it was revealed, even by The Guardian, that direct ancestors of King Charles III and the royal family bought and exploited enslaved people on tobacco plantations in Virginia. My family. My family, it's high time that Charles, the monarchy, my family, that is very, very rich, to take out their checkbook and write a big, fat check to Caribbean nations. It's high time that they do that. My family, it's high time that they pay up. It's high time for justice. It is high time to get justice, for our ancestors who are tortured, maimed, and who lost their life and family. So the royal family in the UK can line their pockets with unearned wealth. It's high time for justice, my family. You know? My family, basically, let me read some comments from people online who are unhappy with how Richard Madeley is basically, attacking our president, my family, our president, the president of Guyana. My family, someone said this. If journalists generally want to check their privilege, one of the best ways is to look over how they have interviewed people from different demographics in similar positions and if it changes. Would Richard interview a European president in the same way he does a president of Guyana, basically banging tables on live TV, as once again he tries to bully the president of Guyana, my family? It is so disrespectful what Richard Madeley is doing. And just so wrong. Just so wrong, my family. Even someone said that interview was just insulting. My family, indeed, it truly was. My family. Someone else said that racial bias is very clear here and live for all to see. My family, people can see what's happening here and they don't like what they are seeing. And my family, once again, we are having Susanna Reid, who also presents herself to be, someone on the opposite side of the argument. Someone who's, my family, is innocent. Once again, sitting and watching as a person of color who, my family, is a president of Guyana, practically being bullied on TV, attacked on TV, not interviewed, attacked, with someone clearly who is incandescent with rage, just because the Caribbean nations want Britain to pay reparations. Want justice. My family. My family, I know the argument they could try and use, my family, that they could use. Oh, this happened in the past. You lost that argument when slave owners and descendants of slave owners were compensated by the British government, by taxpayers. So my family, if slave owners and their descendants have been compensated, my family, with the final payment paid back in 2015, if that is the case, then my family, the descendants of slaves, also deserve to be compensated. My family, I just have to say that. I just have to say that. Once again, Susanna Reid is right there, watching as someone else is being bullied on TV. She has never been innocent, my family, in the attacks towards Meghan Markle. She has been fully complicit in the attacks, the bullying, and racism directed towards Meghan Markle. Make no mistake whatsoever about that, my family. My family, I believe I have said what I wanted to say, my family. But first of all, just how Richard was speaking to the president of Guyana, so disrespectful and so wrong. My family, now I want to hear your thoughts, my family, on what we have just discussed. Kindly please tell me your thoughts about that. With that and so much more, stay tuned to this video. God bless Harry, Meghan, Archie, Libedana, and Doria, Buckland, and all of you members of the squad at home. Hey never wins, love wins, and stay tuned to this video. Love you always and forever. May God bless you all, my family. Hello, members of Zesco Family TV. First of all, I want to say thank you for all your support that you give us to our channel. We don't take it for granted that you support this channel. I want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for lending out your support and fighting against injustices, supporting Prince Harry and Meghan, showing them love. Love will always triumph over evil, and for that I say thank you. Good will always prevail over bad. Thank you so much for all your support. Thank you so much for joining this community, this amazing community of Zesco Family TV. I love you so much, family, from the bottom of my heart, and I wish you all the best. May you have a great day, and I hope that you enjoyed this video and learned a lot of things. With that and so much more, stay tuned to our next video. Leave a comment below, like, and subscribe. Love you, family, always and forever. Sayonara.